Hey guys, this is Calabasa, the DBZ Otaku. Okay, so I'm having a rocky road of a channel, but I still feel good about it, so I'm going to keep trying and trying until I get it right. But anyways, I am not going to be talking about Dragon Ball this time. I'm going to talk to you guys about my top 3 creepypastas. Yes, I love creepypastas. So, yes, this will be a top 3 video because I remember these 3 particularly very well. Now, starting off at number 3 on my top favorite creepypastas is Toby. Now, Toby had a very rough life. He was made fun of because he had multiple mental disabilities, and that's something I can relate to because I have ADHD and I'm autistic. And people with mental disabilities don't always have it easy. And Toby definitely didn't have it easy because he has Tourette's syndrome. So, in other words, what he would do, and it's not something he can control, is that he would, pop his neck or his shoulders or, his elbows or something, hence the name Toby. And things turned for the worst when he lost his sister in an unfortunate car accident. And hell broke loose when his father ended up back in the house of some sort and was abusing his mom, and Toby hated him. Toby fucking hated his dad with a passion. Who could blame him? Because, his dad was a dick. So, yeah, poor kid. And when it came to Toby having enough, he took a knife and stabbed his father to death multiple times. After dealing with so much abuse and having too many nightmares with Slender Man in it, he finally gave in to his inner demons and killed his own father. And then he tried to light the entire block on fire. But only to be saved by Slendy and ended up as one of his henchmen grabbing one rusty hatchet from the garage. So, it's a very... I practically felt bad for Toby, and I feel like Toby is a very I feel like it's underrated as a creepypasta because it could potentially happen to anybody, especially those with mental disabilities. Like if pressured hard enough, they can reach a breaking point, and it's exactly what happened to Toby, and he became a killer in the end. Now, going down to number 2 would definitely be Laughing Jack. Laughing Jack, in my opinion, if you listen to the origins, it would make a lot more sense why I favored Laughing Jack. Now, Laughing Jack is practically somebody from the Victorian era, and he was created by a guardian angel, and was sent to a very lonely boy named Isaac. Now, we all know that Isaac was a very poor lad, and he had a very strict crow of a woman for a mother, and a very abusive drunk as a father. So this poor kid was literally alone, no friends to his name. He couldn't even, the poor kid almost didn't even know what Christmas was because his family was shit. And you would feel bad for him. And then, Laughing Jack came along to be his first friend and his best friend. As their time went on together, things seemed to be very honky-dory, and things were looking up between Isaac and Jack until they killed the neighbor's cat. And it wasn't on purpose. They were just playing pirates in the backyard one day, and Laughing Jack grabbed the neighbor's feline pet because they were imitating pirates, and unfortunately, Jack squeezed the poor thing too hard and killing it. After that, long story short, his Isaac's mom heard what was going on, and then next thing you know, she screams at poor Isaac and then sending him to boarding school. And when Isaac said he was going to his boarding school, he said to Jack that he couldn't go with them, so the only place Jack had returned to was his box, and he was locked there for about 13 years. After 13 long, grueling years, during that time, Jack lost all his color, he lost his happiness, being stuck in that box, knowing what it was like to be alone and being stuck in solitude. Then finally, after a long 13 years, finally he sees Isaac return, only to find out that the guy forgot about him. Cutting forward ahead, things went sour, even more sour, when Isaac came home drunk one day and brought home a woman and tried to have, let's just say he wanted them to be doing the do, if you catch my drift. And things didn't end too well because the woman wasn't interested. So he started beating her and then killed her with a candle holder. And the most grotesque thing he did was turn this poor woman into a chair. And then later on he became a serial killer. And I did forget to mention one thing. One thing when it came to Jack. Jack said to Isaac, whatever you like, I like. And I will also change in development of your personality or something like that. So whatever Isaac was doing, it was affecting Jack. Not for the better, but for the worst. And in the end, it turned out that Isaac's first friend became his last. After finally being freed of his box after one December night, Isaac stupidly wound up the little box with an off-key "Pop Goes the Weasel," and Jack comes out finally in a very grotesque and monochrome form. Yes, Jack was pissed, but also smiling at the same time. After killing Isaac in the most gruesome way possible, before Isaac took his last breath, Jack told him that he's going to find and kill all the lost and lonely children that he sets his eyes upon. That's when Isaac was drawing his last breath, and Jack disappeared afterwards. Isaac's body was found looking very disgusting, but somehow looked happy. And the story ended there. I have to say, when it comes to your friends, sometimes it's best not to forget them. But sometimes when it comes to imaginary friends, sometimes in my opinion, it's best not to think about them as friends. Especially if they turn into something that could be your last, it'll be like the last thing you'll ever see. And as for last but not least, my top favorite creepypasta that I favor above everything else, it's short and sweet, but I love it with a passion, and that is The Art of Jacob Emery. I've listened to both Wellhay Productions, which is Murph, hey Murph, and Madame Macabre read this creepypasta in particular, and I favored it more than anything because it talks about a very eccentric man named Jacob Emery, and he was kind of like the castaway above all people, if I remember correctly, and then he found this magic stick. Each time he drew with this stick, the drawing that he drew on the sheet of paper or whatever he drew, whatever surface he drew it on, it would just spring to life. Ecstatic, Jacob was literally showing this magic thing he had off to everybody, and it was getting him famous. So then he left for a little while, spreading his designs and whatnot. But then after that, he was mad with praise and fame, to the point where he started abusing his creations. He made them do things they didn't want to do. But little did he expect that this art was definitely something from a whole different dimension, and he was unknowingly abusing them. One day when he was on stage, he was showing off what he can do with this magic stick, until one person told him to draw himself. And guess what? He did. Jacob drew himself on the giant canvas on stage, and then all of his creations stopped dead to a halt and saw this drawing. The drawing of Jacob drew a door, and then all of the drawings came spilling out from that portal. As they were driven mad with both grief and wanting that vengeance, they pretty much grabbed poor Jacob and dragged him through that door. And of course, the whole entire theater set on fire, and Jacob disappeared and was never heard of again. But rumor has it, in the story, is that some of those drawings are still roaming around the woods, and Jacob is still alive. But the only thing you can see is a picture of his hand struggling on the remains of that surface that was burned down on stage. So, pretty heavy. And it makes me wonder, as an artist, could that happen to your characters too? If your creations could spring to life. I would feel sad and sorry for all the manga artists out there if this kind of ability were ever to be handed upon them as creators, because I have a feeling, just like the art of Jacob Emery, that a number of characters that artists and creators, including manga artists, etc., I have a feeling a number of characters would hate their creators. So believe you me, if you see a magic stick laying around that can bring your drawings to life, I think it would be best for you to leave them alone. Like, just leave it there. No touchy. Just leave it there. Anyways, that is my top favorite creepypastas. I hope you enjoyed. And if you want me to do any more top fave reviews, leave a like and tell me in the comments below. I'll be glad to read them, as I say in my other videos. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So yes, like and subscribe. Feel free to hit the little bell, hickey, I don't care. This is Calabasa, the DBZ Otaku. See you.